It is September 7th, 2019, and this was something I didn't expect. That was really probably the best Railfan location I've been to in Canada. And it's not too far from home, actually. It's less than 2 hours and good traffic. This is Toronto Mac Yard. Now, I've always known, obviously, Toronto Mac Yard is for those of you not aware of it. Hopefully my microphone's okay, because Emmett's cats were down here and they accidentally had their tail and I lost the back of it. So hopefully it's okay and you can hear me fine. But Mac Yard is basically the largest. It's in Toronto, just north of Toronto, or north of the Toronto Centre. And it is north of York University here, or Pioneer Village. Now, what you're seeing here basically is a stub end yard that is surrounded by locations of west to connections to the United States and Southwest Ontario, including Niagara. And you have connections to the east, all the way to the east coast, Nova Scotia. Actually, where they're under hurricane, had a hurricane hit today, Category 2, which usually doesn't happen this far north, but it did. And it also travels onto the northern transcontinental to the western transcontinental. So everything pretty much that's coming through Toronto goes here, other than the passenger services. This used to be all open area, and this was open and it was surrounded by different things that you couldn't get to. The last time I remember, I could get into here, and I guess for years you've been able to get in here, but it's in kind of commercial. I wanted to be in a spot that was really on its own. So first of all, you can get here by Pioneer Village by the subway line. So this is something I'm sure like the actual places don't mention it too much. The Railfan sites, at least some of them are a little bit outdated. Paul Cordingley's site, for example, it's a little outdated, but he tells you about different things, including this area that you can go to, which you can see. We didn't need to check out this area because this parking lot, this is all fairly new, and it's a Pioneer Village commuter parking lot. And what you do is, on weekends there's free parking, otherwise you have to pay. It's for the commuter parking. So you come up here. Now I hear there's people living in gangs or something, I don't know what, but you come up here to the northeast end. It kind of goes up on a hill here, just a tiny bit of a hill, but right about here is about the high point, somewhere around here, let's say. I was parked there. Actually, I was parked right in front of here, actually, because I remember this light stand. And I'm pretty sure I was there. But anyways, give or take. I don't know if I can get Street View close enough into here. Well, I can get to here. So yeah, we were up over on the hill here. And from this view, you get to see, well, I'll show you exactly what you would get to see. Anything that's coming in to Mac is going to come through the 3 tracks here. There's an overpass here, so anything coming westbound into Mac is in and out, goes onto these 3 tracks here. Anything that's going into the yard is going to show up on either this track or that track. So they all fall in this area. So westbounds, there's an underpass. The other way is switches on to the other. The other ways you used to be able to do is if you're traveling on 407, you happen to go into that, or if you're on Steeles Avenue doesn't. Sorry, Highway 407, or you can go another one that we used to go by is on Highway 7 here is really a good spot. A little bit noisy, but you could see it. The problem, and this is where we used to go, or I've been. The problem with Highway 7 is, okay, you see all the manifests coming in and out. What you don't see is the intermodal traffic, and that's where this comes into play. Now, we didn't see much intermodal traffic today, so it actually wasn't too bad, but it's a nice, calm, peaceful location. And what I'm about to show you is my ATCS logs for the day. Unfortunately, I don't have any video of the footage of the area, but hopefully you can enjoy the replay of the logs here. And I'm going to show you basically what everything looked like. I already transferred over my logs, so I'm going to open up ATCS Monitor. Now this isn't going to be live, or at least I'm going to turn it off from being live. So I'm going to go into where is it here? Replay capture file. And I think I want to see, I did two. I did a snapshot one, which isn't going to show much, I don't think. Whoops. Can I see that again? What the heck? Okay, hold on a second. Give me a second. I gotta pause it again. I gotta pause it before it does it. I'll get to it. Don't worry. Oh man, that thing is so fast. Hang on. You gotta be kidding me. I know I'll get it. This is like playing a game. Thank you. Great. Okay, well let me here. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to put a big replay delay in here. So 121. Yeah, that sounds about when we started. So I'm going to put that up there. That's the time. I'll put everything up here. And I should be able to see the dispatcher display. Right? I should be able to see it. I don't know why I can't. I guess I have to actually hang on a second here. I should have loaded it up this first, but I didn't. So let me cancel this, even though I just did this. I'm going to go with my Bayview. I'm going to go with this. And I don't want to do that. Configure options. Display. Browse. So sorry I'm showing this data. I didn't mean to show this data. Let's go to Central. Alright, let me stop this for a minute. Good. Okay, so they're only seeing one thing. That's what I want to see. Alright. Because I'm not trying to show live data while I'm live streaming here. I know that's a no-no. It's a no-no. All right. I think I'm going through it. I'm not too sure why the generic isn't getting it. Hang on a second. Oh, Norvell. Okay, all right. So I'm not too sure why it's only picking up Norvell, unless I was hooked on it, which really sucks if I was. Okay, there we go. Okay. So yeah, you can see the trains. I had a westbound going here, eastbound was coming here. So this is all around 1432. So okay, it started when when I first pulled in and started getting signals. So that's why you had a bunch of Norvells and Peel and all that other stuff. This isn't my this isn't my best log, let's say. So I had one that came in, another guy that was coming in waiting for power. This was a power swap. I had another one coming from down here. There, see, now he got in. So this is when we first got here. We were waiting for this. Now, mind you, Doncaster isn't showing up. This whole area, Ovel's not a control point. So here's the westbound coming in. This is the first control block that you see coming in off the York sub. So this is the York sub here. This is the line that goes north, the Ballast sub, and this is the York sub continuing, and eventually it connects onto the Kingston sub. So there's a light power going in. There's this guy moving in. And I mean, this is crazy. It's now 2:40, and we've already seen a few trains pass us by. We saw this one come in. We saw the light power before him. The other guy. It's 2:41. We're waiting for this westbound, and that's the end of that log. Now, what happened was I went in to start another log from there. So I'm going to replay capture file of the longer one, which is a 331. There we go. So it's 244. Gonna let this go for a minute. You can see the westbound intermodals coming at the bottom. He's going on the underpass. I've got another man. That's another transfer that's coming from Goreway. Bit Yard, for you guys not familiar, Goreway is the eastern entrance to Bit Yard. I don't have the western entrance. The only thing you miss here is two intermodal trains that go west and east down the Dundas sub or Halton sub. Everything else is pretty much what you see. I'll be right back. So yeah, we're at 252. This is actually a better log than that snap log that I was showing before. So I was in we were pretty much at that area for 6 hours. Actually, I had to call CAA because, which is it's like AAA for using the States, because I think I drained my battery. I had the inverter going too long or something. I think the car's okay. It was kind of weird. Usually it gives me a warning, but... So the westbound's going through, the eastbound's going through. That's the one from Bit. But then there's that other train just east of Goreway. That was a Manifest that's waiting for the intermodal to go by, and right now it's at 3 o'clock. We've literally been there for just over an hour, and we're already seeing all this traffic. We already saw that, you know, the first westbound that went came into Mac. Now the display is not going to be perfect. It's going to miss a few segments here and there. Don't worry about Ovel. That just does its thing. I was surprised I didn't see more coming out of the east end in this. We saw a lot. Look, there's another one lined up at Goreway, in behind the other guy that's waiting there. Getting Richmond Hill North on the Bala lit up there. We didn't get that much. Now keep in mind this doesn't have the thing where it goes off after 5 minutes. There's another small little exchange yard just south of Bit there. So we had a few transfers we didn't see, but most of them we did. So he was behind the other guy that's waiting for that light there. Switches are changing at Snyder West. So that's for the manifest to come in. Now I can pretty much explain to you what the trains. There's a westbound that was lit to come out. I think right here we're going to see there was a meet going on. We had over/under meets too that were happening. You recall those three lines go above that track that's cleared going into Mac. So there's another one lined up behind Humber. And our location is right at Snyder West. We're actually sorry, our location was at Ovel, which is part of the Snyder West control point. So we were just sitting, literally that parking lot is right to the west of it's not technically, I guess it technically is a Y, but it's an overpass, underpass type thing. See, here's the meet I told you about. The guy's coming out of Mac Yard right now, the westbound. This guy was coming in. Meanwhile, westbound was coming in. The guy behind, there's another guy behind him at Humber. So Snyder West. Humber is a single track over the Humber River, single track bridge. So we were watching all the dispatching taking place. And the cool thing about this, there was only 2 lulls the whole day, literally. Now that stuff coming out of the yard, we did eventually see 1 or 2 come out of that little yard at the far left side there. Richmond Hill North did not update that much. So you have another train waiting at Snyder West. Now I think he held back. I think I forget if that's light power. I've lost track now at this point. At this point, it is 3:28 in the afternoon. We have seen probably 10 trains at this point, maybe a dozen. I mean, I know the number is up there. It just seemed unreal. It was just one after another. It seemed like Fostoria at times. It was just crazy. And yet, the east side wasn't getting hardly anything. A lot of transfers. There's a lot of power transfers that take place. There was an auto train that came out of Bit too, which I didn't quite understand. I think he was part of an intermodal train or a transfer. I don't know too much about that, but the Halton was getting quite a bit of action going, freight action going west and east. So the Halton's to the left, between Snyder West, heading west past Goreway. Goreway's the eastern end with Bit. The one to the right's not reporting anything. That's the only one you can't see. It's not the Battle, the Newmarket sub. And so you can see the amount of logs we have. 15, 34. I don't want to speed it up too much, or you miss in between the trains. But we're getting through there. We're now there for a little over an hour and a half, at least. I forget when I called CAA. I think it was around 3:30. I think it was around this time. It might have been. But the laptop was fine, actually, and I don't know what happened. I had normally, like I said, it warns me when, and it gave me the warning, but I think I tried to start the car when those two trains were passing, and that was the mistake. So yeah, because CAA came before 4 o'clock, so I had called it around 3:30. Meanwhile, that's when a lull happened, so it was perfect timing. So this was with the first of a few lulls that happened here. Let me put the replay up to 400 here. So yeah, this was the first of, I think, 2 lulls at about 3:45. Now there was a time where there might have been 3 lulls. Which was perfect timing because CAA was coming right around 4, and there was no trains that were, right around that time. Put it up to 200, speed it up a bit. There we go. So now it's at 4:17. Got another westbound manifest. And by then I didn't realize I had Elgin and Langstaff too. They weren't constantly reporting. There's another one. So now, see, there's another power transfer, I believe. Yeah, that's a power transfer. You can tell by the size it fit into Humber. Sorry guys, I would have gave you more. I thought there's another one in Bit lining up. It took a while for this one off York sub to come. Now see, all of a sudden Richmond Hill lit up. Oh, here he is. But so, yeah, I remember this because we saw the light at Richmond Hill, and then, suddenly here was the westbound that was coming. Now keep in mind, this area here is not getting a lot of repeats, so this isn't updating nearly as much. So here's this guy coming out. We did see an empty windmill train, But we took off right around this time, I think. No, it wasn't this time. There was a time, I think, after here or in between, we really were getting close. We actually went to a Popeyes on Jane. So yeah, this guy is eastbound intermodal train out a bit. Now again, keep in mind these lights, everything's not updating nearly as quick as these. We were starting to lose it. So see how we're losing it right now? What happened there? The reason why we lost all that was because of the we went to get our supper. So we didn't miss anything. And we were still getting quite a few indications despite that. And then we headed back, and by the time we had our Popeyes, we were waiting for that. It didn't take long over at Jane, and here comes this guy. And then I don't know what happened here. Oh yeah, something. Sorry, that was eastbound. Eastbound manifest came out. Trains passing each other here. Another manifest leaving. Sorry, no, that's a power transfer. Lots of power transfers. In fact, this guy's waiting. This is a westbound that came through. He's waiting to get there. He's going to follow him. This guy's actually waiting as well. And again, don't worry about this. That's nothing. And sometimes these blocks don't all connect, but that's the same train. He's waiting. You can see they're getting ready to get the switch. So that's a train heading down the Halton sub. And that was a through train. That was a through manifest train. I didn't quite understand. I didn't realize there was through manifest trains that didn't stop at Mac, but apparently there are some. That was to my surprise. I didn't realize that. I thought they all started and terminated at Mac. And he comes out. I think this was the windmill train. Yeah, by then it's about 6:55. I think right around this time it started slowing down again. This was coming up to our second lull. I might have exaggerated the number of trains, but it seemed kind of crazy. Maybe the numbers were not too high. I was losing count, so I was just estimating at that point. So I don't know how many trains we saw, but it was just crazy. And another westbound lit out. This guy, actually, we saw him. This is the light power move. We actually saw him over at the other side. We actually went around to the other side of the yard, I think. And then we came back before we left. We left, I think, at about 7:25. We left at about 8 o'clock. We saw that light power move when we crossed over the Highway 7 bridge over here. And I don't know if we waited and saw one more or not. Yeah, we were waiting for another. Yeah, another intermodal train. This might have been the last one we saw. And you could tell he was already. This we could tell we saw the lights. We actually saw these lights. These are old lights. The ones on the bottom though we did see. So he was probably lined up. Doncaster we never received, but he probably was lined up for here. Keep in mind, I mean, we're 8.8 miles away from where we are around mile 0, and that was the end of it right there. So it was pretty good that we actually got this. That was just a fluke that we were getting that, but that was the end of the log right there. Very impressive. I thought it was great. So I wanted to share that to you guys. It's a really cool spot. Like I said, you get yourself down there. For those of you that are familiar with the Toronto area, or at least familiar with Toronto but not too sure how to get there, that's a lot of data right there. I thought that was a kind of a cool log, and my son recommended doing the log because he said, "Hey, you want to go check that out." So the major roads here. So this is where you want to go. If you're coming in and you want to take rapid transit, by all means you can go. Where is it? Pioneer Village. Sorry, not Black Creek Village. So you've got the Pioneer Village commuter parking lot. That's where you want to go. Go up to the northeast section of that parking lot. Monday to Friday is free parking if you come down here. If you're taking the TTC, which is the subway for Toronto, you can head on line 1 and get out at Pioneer Village. Just walk over here. Be careful in this area. I wouldn't go here at night. I hear there's, from what I hear, at least there was one Railfan there the whole time on a bike, and he was telling me that some people like setting up tents or something like in there, but I didn't see any activity when I was there. Everything was fine. So this comes right up from Union. So if you get into Toronto and head up to Pioneer Village, just follow this. Everything's like nice. There's a lot of other places you can see, and there's a lot of other cool places you can go as well. One of the more cooler places actually is you get a chance. Where was it here? Oh yeah, this street right here, Rotation Drive. You come up over here, and there's an auto facility, but you can actually get a view of the hump. And that's what we did do. Not the last hour, but the second last hour when that one lull started. We got to see the hump being used, so it was kind of cool. But that's a lot of fun. But anyways, the best way to get there, if you're going 407, is a commuter. It's an express toll road. So unless you have a transponder and traffic's bad, you may want to take the 407, or you can take it without a transponder. You just get charged extra for the photo. I took the 407 coming east today because the traffic was a little heavy, but it was nice going back. I didn't take the 407. The other highways in the area, of course, is the 400. You could take the 400 down. We came up. I think we came back on the 400 to the 401, and we just 401's kind of a you got to be paying attention. We took the 403 coming back home, but that's coming back from Niagara, it's easy. You just like 403, follow the 403 off of the QEW, and it's no problem getting there. It's really it's not that bad for traffic. I've been through worse traffic going to cottage country, and in fact I was in no traffic whatsoever. I mean, a couple of breaks, checking the brakes a little bit, but nothing. I think I was very little below the speed limit, if at all. It was very nice. So yeah, just you go up here, and then in the vicinity, I would say, what Bayview Golf? I'm getting lost now. I think it's Vaughan. Yeah. Whoops. I don't want Thornhill. Sorry, I got lost here with the 407. Hillcrest. Oh, there we go. Mackyard. So yeah, Highway 7's another one. It's a busy road, but as an alternate, you can take Highway 7 as far as you need to take it if you want, if you prefer, instead of taking 407. But there's plenty of ways of getting around. 680 News is a good AM radio station if you're in the Toronto area. I'll give you traffic reports if you understand the locations and the highways. You know, you're basically your big highways. I stayed away from the Don Valley. You usually don't want to be around the Don Valley. It gets pretty busy, but it's north of Toronto. It's really good. It's close to Canada's Wonderland, actually. If you're familiar with that area, because the 400 that basically goes up to there. So it's like, there's your 400, right? So I never realized the 400 was so close, but I could actually see Canada's Wonderland. I was surprised when I went around this section. I was just like, wow, I can see the roller coaster. I didn't realize we were that close to Canada's Wonderland. And yeah, there's a little end track there where I guess that's just like a huge drill track of some sort. But I was like, oh wow, I can actually see Canada's Wonderland. I was surprised because I thought it was a little bit further, but I guess it's pretty good. So no, it's a good place to go if you have a vehicle and you know where you're going. Hopefully this helped. Next time I do go in the area, I'm definitely gonna bring my camera. I hate doing editing. I just hate doing editing. I would much rather. As far as the view from camera, don't get too concerned about it. The views are really good. When you're looking off, you can see the bottoms of the wheels in the cars very well on anything that's coming, going east and Mac, coming in and out. And they all take this line. This is the only way they can do it. Coming in, you get to see everything, and here it's a little bit of shrubbery right here. I'll show you what I mean. So I wasn't too sure what it was going to be like with that view, but you can see there's your track level right there. I imagine over time this is going to grow more. Unfortunately, some of these trees are probably going to get bigger. I don't know. Maybe they won't. But I assume it's only going to get bigger down the road. Of course, that's the west end there, the one control point, West Snyder, I guess it is. But there's an access road to Jane Street. They do crew changes over here. They did at least one with an empty windmill train was sitting here before he headed east, and you can access this. That's the other thing too. If you get on Jane, you can access this just by going up to the line at Jane. Let me show you what I mean by. If you can get to Jane, it's a fairly busy street, but not too bad. If you get to Jane, you can exit right here, right before the tracks. So that's another alternative. So Jane and Finch area. So if you want to get off the 400, you can get off to Finch Avenue off the 400 and then the Jane Street. That's probably one of the easiest ways to get there. I think that's probably the way I would take next time. Although the 400 during a lot of the not even the long weekends, any weekend, where we were a Saturday afternoon, so it wasn't too bad, but the 400 can get busy depending whether it's beginning or the end of a weekend / long weekend. So it's a very good, plenty of ways to get in there, put it that way. So I wasn't delayed too much in traffic. We spent a lot more time versus taking public transit. When you take public transit, as good as their system is, it still takes a long time to get like even last year. I believe it or not, I've been to Toronto the last 2 weekends. I've taken day trips there, and as much as I'm a believer with public transit, the problem with it is all the stops. There's quite a few stops going this way. You go around Hamilton Harbor, then you have to get into the subway, which has plenty of stops as well, as fast as it is. So anyways, my son's coming down, so I'll let him see this in a minute. So anyways, he's coming down, so I'm going to end this. Anyways, we'll talk to you later, guys. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Any questions, let me know.